everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have a slightly new setup today. I bought a ring light that attaches to my desk because I actually want it for my other channel, but I'm not sure it's going to fit in my filming place there because the lip of the desk is really thick. But it works here for the moment, so we're just going to test it out. I should actually be at school at the moment, and I'm not, which is very exciting because we've had rain days. The sky is beautifully clear at the moment, so I think we are back in school tomorrow, but we went home early on Sunday, and then Monday was cancelled, and we found out about 10 o'clock last night that today was also going to be cancelled because the roads were too dangerous, so we didn't want people commuting in, which frankly has been absolutely wonderful. I'm going to do a little bit of washing up in a minute to clean up my kitchen. I've got some bread proving right now because I tried a recipe yesterday for like meatball shakshuka that turned out really well, but could do with some bread. And I'm just going to update this and then maybe do a react, we will see. And as I look here, it has just occurred to me that I did not get my closing ready. I think maybe I will film this one and then do my closing and then upload both of them. That's probably going to be better. But I've taken a picture, not that you care about this, but I've taken a picture of my budget this time to work with because I'm having a weird thing, I think I mentioned last time with my Excel, where it's filming as a quarter of the screen and then being quite blurry. So if I take a picture, I can sort it out. I've also changed just the layout again. Maybe having me in the corner will be easier. And I'm going to try and include the conversion rates on top because I know me working in multiple currencies is quite difficult if you're trying to follow it from a different country, and hopefully that's helpful. So let's look at how February is looking. My salary was very slightly higher than expected. Not by a lot, and I rolled over a tiny bit from last month. You'll see in my closing, but last month, oh, it was long. I know January is long, but ooh, I thought I was doing really well, and then suddenly got to week 4 and I was like, oh, I'm broke. I'll talk to you about that in the other video, probably, or I have done at this point, probably. But we have a couple of allowances that school gives us. The reason my salary is 1,313 is because it's actually 1,300 real. And then they give us a 20 real allowance for electricity because we have meters here. I don't know if it's as common in America, but I know you get them in England because when I was studying at university, we had one in our house. But sometimes, especially if you're renting out, instead of having a utility bill that frankly people can run out of, you have a meter or a box. Run out on is what I meant then. You have like a meter or a box, and it's a bit like a pay-as-you-go phone where you top it up, you use the electricity, then you buy another token and you top it up again. So they give us, call to prayer just started, do excuse me. They give us 20 real a month towards our electricity to cover that, but then they take 7 real a month for the laundry service that the school has here, and it's compulsory to have the laundry service whether you use it or not. So that leaves me with 13. However, this month, I don't have the breakdown of my salary right now because people aren't in school, so the admin person in charge of the finance hasn't sent it to me yet, but I suspect they've calculated our water. So the water rates, I think we get about 5 real a month, but what they do, because the school provides the water, they have got ways to track it. They've got our own personal meters like outside that they go and read. It's not in our house. And they say, okay, you can have, I think it's 5 real a month, but then we'll calculate it. I don't know if it's yearly or half yearly, but they calculate it, and then in the February salary, they will tell you if you've used more or less than your allowance. If you've used more, you have to pay the difference, and that gets deducted. And if you've used less, the difference gets refunded because they say, well, the allowance is yours. So I got refunded about 10 real, something like that. It's not a lot, but every little helps. So let's just take a little look at how my local expenses are going this time around. So I ended up sending home a little bit more than I thought because of the small rollover I had. But let's look at the bills and we can see the impact of that on the savings. So home internet stays at 29. Electricity, I did put on 10. I realize this says actual 0, but I am putting on 10. I got paid today, so I'm going to pay the bills as soon as I finish filming this. I think this is the last month I will be able to get away with putting 10 on though, because within the next couple of weeks, we're expecting it to heat up again. Winter here tends to end end of February, and then you just have misery for 10 months or so. My cleaner will be 20 real. She came last week, she'll come next week. It's a short month, I'm not expecting to have to pay more. My phone, I'm going to top up by 7. That will be a couple of months worth, but just so I have it in the account. And I paid 5 real for my salary transfer, the international transfer. So that's 71 on fixed expenses. If we go over to my variable expenses, I've put my usual 120 in for groceries. I think that's what kind of killed me this time. I did some unplanned trips. Transport I've got at 15, school I've got at 15. Now both of these are a little bit lower because, as you can see, beauty and health is at 60. Now what I've done is I've skimmed off of various categories because I've actually got a dentist appointment on the 17th. Now I have health insurance. When I went to the GP last month for the cough I had, I've just finished the medicine for that actually. It didn't cost me anything at all for the prescription or for the appointment. It was all covered by insurance. However, dental is not covered. So I had my work done, but when I was there, I booked just a clean and polish, and that's happening on the 17th. And I've got a feeling I've lost a bit of a filling at the back there. It's not hurting, but they're probably going to have to fill that. I know the clean and polish is going to cost me 25 or 30 reals. I mean, it's just part of maintenance, you have to do it. But it means I've put a little bit more towards beauty and health. Now, I do have my medical sinking fund that if I ended up needing emergency work, I could pull from. But I feel like I've got enough elasticity in the budget that I can skim off other areas and not need to pull from that. However, I am hoping to have some work done in the summer. So what I actually want to do, I have a tooth right here that needs a root canal, and it's needed one for years. It doesn't cause me any pain, but it's been cracked for a long time, just hairline cracks, and it's been slowly dying for the last 2 decades, you know? So that's why it's a little bit discolored under there. Now, my front teeth are bigger, you don't see it very much, but I would like to get it done. However, I also want my teeth whitened a little because, you know, they're yellowing with age. I drink a lot of coffee, that kind of thing. But once you have a crown on the front tooth, they can't whiten it because the crown won't whiten. So they won't give you that treatment. So I'm hoping this summer to go and get my teeth whitened and then get the root canal done and have a crown put on that matches my teeth. I don't know if they'll do that, but I have emailed a clinic to find out. And I don't know how much it's going to cost. So I've asked them. Haven't got a reply back yet. It might be a case of WhatsApping them or going and seeing them, because that just tends to be how things work here, which is a bit frustrating. But I will maybe talk to the dentist at the hospital and see what she does and what they offer, because that's where I'm getting my cleaning done and stuff. The hospital have GPs and dental clinics within them that you can go to. But it's probably going to be a private clinic, and I'll just see what they offer. I've got several friends who are getting dental work done right now, so they've got a few they can recommend. But it likely won't be cheap, which is why I want to keep my medical fund where it is and keep contributing to it. We'll talk about that in a minute. So Miss Comb is down to 5. Spending, I'm going to keep at 25 because that's about what I do. Clothing, I've just skimmed 5 off of to go towards the beauty and the health. So a few little changes this month. It probably won't be permanent, but while I've got that extra expense in one category, I'm trying just to balance it out. Now let's take a look at the home fund. I haven't been paid my additional income just yet. That comes from YouTube. So it'll probably come to me in about, I would guess 10 days, depending on how the calendar falls. But the amount I sent home ended up being 2,090 because I had a little bit of extra money and the exchange rate was decent enough. Now, the very exciting news for me this month is that I have now fully funded my emergency fund. How exciting. So I've got 10,000 in there just in case anything happens, because as I've mentioned before, my ability to stay in the country and my accommodation, my apartment, are all tied to my job. So if a disaster happened and I had to leave my job for any reason, I would also have to get home and find a new place to live. So I don't use my monthly expenses as a guide for my emergency fund, because in the event of emergency, I would likely need much more money than that. But I put the last 900 in this time. We are now fully funded with emergency, and that is great. I did have an other spending. I put something I bought onto my credit card because I like to keep my credit card in use occasionally, because what I find is when I don't use it for a long time, it starts to impact my credit score, not because I'm doing something bad, but because essentially they start telling me, oh, we can't tell if you're reliable making repayments because you're not making repayments, you're not using it. So I like to keep up a steady but low use. I'm gonna, when I get offline now, just pay it all off. It's only been on there for a couple of days. I was just waiting for my salary to come through. So that will be 62 of other spending. My YouTube and my YouTube membership is 2 and 3 altogether. This is YouTube Premium. But I'm gonna put 12 and 18 in, because then that will stock up that bank account for 6 months. And that will mean I don't have to worry about putting that little bit in for the months coming. I always get worried that I'm gonna forget to transfer it and then go overdrawn for the sake of £2. My pension is getting its usual 850 this month, but I have upped the future fund because I made a little bit more on YouTube with the additional income than I thought. I've upped the money that's going into the future fund from 500 to 750 this month. I have not paid that yet. I'm paying the YouTube membership, the pension, but I will pay the rest when my other funds come in. If we go over to the sinking funds, I have fully funded hair this month, or will have, so that's gone up to 150, and I've refunded gifts back up to 300 because we had depleted that. We, all of us, the royal we, had depleted that over Christmas, and it was my brother's birthday this month. I wanted to make sure I had the money in there. As I said, I am looking to use my medical fund. So I'm currently trying to get it up to 1,000. I've just put 100 in there now. I won't need it until the summer, but depending on what I make in the future, I'm going to try and go over that so that once it's depleted, I don't have to work super hard to refund it. So I want to make it a little bit higher so I've got the wiggle room there. And then large purchases, I'm just putting 100 in this month, so it goes up to 400. The aim with that eventually is to get a new computer and to buy a new phone. The phone is less urgent than the computer, but I was aiming for 2,000 in that fund. I might need to aim for 3. We will see how it goes. I'll be filling it up with, I don't know, excess income, if that makes sense, if there is such a thing. So whenever I make more than I had estimated I would on YouTube, I'll put a little in. I don't need to buy that right now, or at least that's what I've been telling myself, because I've been so tempted buying big expensive things at the moment. There's so many ads for like the Samsung S24. It's just that time of year. I'm like, oh, I want shiny things. I want shiny things. And I don't need them, but I do want them. So I can save up for that. It's not urgent to buy it right now. And likely when I do end up buying it later, I'll try and buy it when the next one comes out and get a good deal on the current one. And the same actually goes for the computer. I have a Surface Pro. I think it's a Surface Pro 6. Like, it's been with me for some years. They, I believe, are going to release the Surface Pro 10 in 2025, maybe? I think that's the rumor right now. There isn't an official date. So I may end up looking at that when that comes out, or when they start looking at the line again, because the 9's been out for a while, and if I'm very kind to this one, it's still got a bit of life left in it. But that means I have a bit of time to fill that, but there we go. I haven't put anything in tax this month. I will start filling that. I am done for this year's taxes, I do believe, but once I go in to pay this year's, because I've got some in the account, I will have to pay half of next year's as well, so I want to make sure I've got money in there. Travel, I'm not filling at the moment, so I think that's everything on the sinking fund side of things. So that's going pretty well. I am quite excited now the emergency fund is done, because it means that the money that had been going into an emergency can now start being split among other areas. Particularly, I can start putting more into pension and future and just seeing progress there. So very good. I'm hoping, we'll see how the money works out, but I'm hoping to put 1,000 into each starting from now, maybe, but we'll see if that works or not. We'll see how my money goes. But that is what I'm expecting February to March to look like. And if anything changes, I will let you know. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.